Yeah, I think first is just to be gracious and congratulate Supersport United and Caetano in particular for staying in the game and fighting it through and then getting a point. Yeah, and we can't fault the players for trying. The effort was there on the pitch. They ran hard and they gave a good account for themselves, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. So yeah, we take the point and we move on.
Good evening, coach, and good evening once again to my colleagues. Unlucky on the result, coach. Dennis Onyango, I think maybe we can just quickly start there, coach. 2 mistakes from him, but we know how good he is. I mean, he saved Sundowns a lot of points. He's won championships with the club. Just your word on his mistakes. Is it something that the goalkeeping department or you as the 3 coaches will be speaking to him about, coach? And secondly, Andile Jali, I saw was playing more of a half centre back, starting balls very deeply. Is that a role that we'll be seeing more of him going forward? Thank you.
Karabo. Look, football is a game of mistakes, and unfortunately, when you are a goalkeeper, the good thing is you and I never played in goals, so we don't have the benefit of that experience. But part to being a goalkeeper is the understanding that yours might be as costly as or more costly than many of the other players that are on the pitch. But the reality is Dennis is Dennis. Dennis is a top goalkeeper, and as they say, one swallow doesn't make a summer. And these are part of the game. He's got our support. We will show the corrections and analyze the game like we always do. Even when we win, we try to get the lessons and try to improve. And even in a difficult moment, like today was a difficult moment, and we will still do our corrections and analyze. And that's for everybody and not just Dennis. But I know the state of football says that when you make mistakes, you become the scapegoat. So we have to refrain from that, because how many other times has he helped us when we've been talking about all these clean sheets and the records that we were setting? A lot of it had to do with Dennis. So let's not be quick to forget. Let's appreciate. Let's love our players and appreciate their efforts in good and bad moments. Yeah. What was the second question?
I forgot what the first question was. If you may repeat, Karabo.
Okay, no, it's fine. Coach, well, you've already touched on it briefly. Yes, but I just wanted to switch your question, but it's fine. You can continue with the challenge. It's okay.
Yeah, well, a chance, yeah. Look, Karabo, Supersport play with a 4-4-2. And when you have 2 strikers sitting on top of your 2 center backs, then you need to create some form of superiority. AJ did that very well for us through the half space and sometimes through the central corridor. But that's 100% not how we want to play every single match. But we've got what I always call tactical culture, and that tactical culture means that the game principles and the schemes are always the same, just adopted in relation to the opposition's high press. And when an opposition presses with 2 strikers, in the first half was Mbule and Kabuza, then when Weber came on and they pushed Lungu a little bit closer to Kabuza, where they had more speed, and then it became also a little bit more difficult. So you needed that +1 principle. But yeah, good. But today was not about tactics. Today was a little bit about we played too fast. It didn't give a good feeling. It didn't give a good feeling to us.
Coach, you guys have dropped 4 points now, which I don't really think it's a crisis. But I just want to find out, like, in the bigger scheme of things, you guys as the technical team, how many points are you targeting by the time you return back to the Champions League? Because the Champions League obviously has got a potential of disruption with traveling and up and down and all that stuff, so that you've got a cushion of being there at the top. How many points have you targeted?
To be honest, Mrena, we have not targeted a certain number of points. We have our own processes where we've divided the calendar into certain blocks. We start now the third block, which is a new group of 5 games, which we have to participate in. It's a difficult group of 5 games. And we have a certain target for that. But for us, it's just game by game. There's so much work that needs to be done. The season is so long. And you've seen even when last season and the season even before was a very good case study when Chiefs was a huge number of points, maybe 14, 15 points going into the last round of fixtures with the bubble. And it's very, very easy to lose sight and then start counting your chickens before the eggs hatch. So yeah, we just work step by step, game by game. Now is to focus 150% on Sekhukhune and try to make sure that we can play better. The performances in the last 2 games have not been very good. And those are always the indicators. We always look at that because sometimes the results can be misleading. We've won games when we haven't played very well. And football being football, we've dropped a couple of points because we have not played well in the last 2 games. And that's where we have to start. Let's try to improve the performances and try to give performances that are worthy of 3 points and winning matches. And to do that, we have to go back to a lot of the things that we used to do, and we used to do very, very well that helped us to win. And one of those is to make sure that we don't give a lot of chances to the opposition. At this moment, even particularly today, we gave far too many opportunities with the strikes from range from Mokwena, which we knew about. And those created the scoring situations, the crosses, and Kabuza almost scored in the first minute or so. So we've got to come again and be strong on our parameters and look at some of the data and clearly today's data from an XG against sort of perspective, we should have considered more goals. But okay, good. We fought. We worked very hard. The players did the best that they could, and unfortunately, we allowed Supersport to come back into the match. We could have managed it a little bit better, but yeah, it's a draw. It's a result that we have to take, of course, but a result that we'll take with a lot of lessons and move on.
Coach, I just want to ask, what's the fitness status of Gaston Serino? Because obviously he hasn't started many games recently. Is it about catching up, to match fitness, or is it the performances of people in his position? And secondly, Hashim Domingo, obviously a very talented player, but no goals or assists yet this season. Is it something that's concerning you? Thank you.
Thanks, Lorenz. Hashim, goals, it depends on the responsibility. Of course, when he was growing up and he was at Ajax and when he went to Gimarange in a little bit, and in certain moments for Bidvest Wits, okay, of course, there were games where he was played on the right or on the left wing. But generally, with his upbringing, he's always been a player that plays a little bit closer towards the goal. And therefore, with that in mind, you would think that assists, goals are very important contributions for him in a match. But the role that he plays is a little bit more different, where he's got to be a little bit deeper to construct the attack, and he's got different responsibilities, and it becomes very difficult for him to be in and around the box. So we are very happy with his contribution, his intensity, his usage of the ball, his ability to develop the play from deeper positions. But yeah, of course, he's still gonna grow. He's extremely talented, like you've mentioned, and the one good thing is his humility and his coachability. He's always looking for information, always looking for reference and feedback, and always looking to improve. And that's also a sign of intelligence. So yeah, he will get better, and he will definitely do better. As the season goes on.
Coach, in preseason, when you brought Nehemiah in, you spoke about him filling a gap that you guys didn't have at the club, that he offered something different, and you were hoping for him to progress well. I just want to get your take on how far he's got at the moment, because obviously a great performance, especially in the first half today. Where do you think he is?
I don't even know that guy.
Rob?
Well, Rob is muted now.
Yeah, do you get that?
Sorry,
just basically the progress of Mayema, and I mean, obviously filling that space that you did mention in preseason, that he was he offered you something that you guys didn't have at the club.
Yeah, Rob. Look, he comes in now with the dynamism and the ability to use the left foot very, very well. He's got a lot of confidence to strike the ball from range also. He's learning a lot of new things. It was good to see the ball that he played for the assist with that dink over the top, which is something that we've been working hard on. But good, he's young, he's energetic, he's very dynamic. He works very, very hard on the pitch, and yeah, a very exciting player that's giving his heart and soul to Mamelodi Sundowns, and I'm sure the supporters are very happy with his performances. The challenge now is for him to find the consistency and to be able to continue contributing towards the goals, whether through assists or through goals scored. But yeah, so far so good. The mentorship that he receives from people like Themba Zwane is very important. Vilakazi, they guide and they assist him. So yeah, it takes more than just a house to raise a kid, you know, as they say. It's the responsibility of the entire community, and in this case, it's the responsibility of the entire change room. So good, but it becomes very difficult to single out a good performance from an individual when from a performance perspective, and there's a difference between performance and the commitment and the desire and the effort. The effort was top. A lot of running, a lot of effort put onto the players. The intensity was good, but just the detail from a tactical perspective was what was missing today.
Coach, earlier on you spoke about having a tactical structure. So apart from those mistakes by Dennis, where do you think you got it wrong tactically that allowed Supersport to get back in the game? Thank you.
Look, I think the first one is our preparation, and that comes 100% to us, and to us the coaches, and myself included. I don't exclude myself from that. Is 100%. Whenever you don't win a game, the first starting point is the coaches. You know, did we prepare enough? Did we show the players enough? Did we drill the team enough? Did we prepare the team enough? And of course, then you've got to take it. You know, you've got to take it and shoulder the responsibility, and that responsibility is 150% on our shoulders. And then, of course, then you watch the game and analyze, and of course, maybe you pick up a lot of detail. But for me, from the start, I just felt we played far too quick. The range of our passes was far too huge. Normally, we are a 5, 10 meter, maybe even 12 meter passing team, but today we had far too many longer passes. Those longer passes stretch the lines of the team, and when you have the lines of the team stretched, it means you compromise a little bit your defensive structure or your structure upon the turnover, and then it becomes a little bit very difficult to have a feeling of control or dominance on the pitch. So yeah, not a good feeling about the match, and we'll analyze, we'll try to correct and try to give a better account of ourselves. It's a quick turnaround, but we have to get up and dust ourselves off and try to fight against Sekhukhune for a win.